In this lesson, we are going to read through the using water activity to control bugs topic in the template food control plan. This is one of the magenta-colored cards in the making and cooking section of the plan and is page number 73. What do you need to know? This procedure applies to people who concentrate and dry food. Examples of food that can be dried using this card are jerky, dried fruits and vegetables, such as dried lemons, limes, oranges. Harmful bugs need moisture to grow. Lowering the moisture content, that is, water activity of your food, will help to stop their growth. Water activity relates to the amount of water that is available to support the growth of bugs in your food. It is not the same as the overall moisture content of a food, as some moisture in food is not available for bugs to use for growth. To lower water activity, you need to reduce the moisture content to make it harder for bugs to grow. This can be done by drying food or adding salt or sugar. A water activity of 0.85 or less is necessary if food is not intended to be stored in the fridge or have another preservation method such as pH. Biltong cannot be made and sold under this plan. Contact MPI at this email address for further help. Lowering the moisture content of food can also have the effect of raising the salt or sugar concentration in foods, which can kill many bugs. It is important that the method you and your staff use for concentration or drying results in water being removed evenly from the food. If there are some spots with a higher water activity, bugs can still grow in these parts and cause the food to become unsafe or unsuitable. Once the water activity of your food is below 0.85, it is important to protect it from absorbing water from the air or other foods during its shelf life. This can be done by using packaging that prevents moisture absorption or storing the food in a humidity-controlled environment. If the water activity increases again, any bugs that are still alive can start growing again and cause the food to become unsafe or unsuitable. There are rules in the Australia-New Zealand Food Standards Code about the types of food additives, such as preservatives, you can add to some foods. See the code or ask your verifier for more information. You and your staff do not need to follow this card if you are following the Making Chinese-Style Roast Duck card. What do you need to do? Drying. Dried products must have a water activity of 0.85 or less, unless they are either stored chilled at 5 degrees Celsius or below until it is used. Subject to other valid preservation methods like reducing pH. Remember to complete your copy of the template by ticking which applies. All drying equipment, for example, heating, fans, humidifiers, must be regularly checked that they are working properly. I will dry my food where food is dried. In a temperature-controlled space, at ambient air temperatures. Remember to complete your copy of the template by ticking which applies. If you are drying food in the danger zone, 5 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, that usually requires temperature control, then you must follow the 2-hour 4-hour rule. See the Preparing Food Safely card. If you are making products with a water activity of 0.85 or less, you must test them to make sure they achieve this. If you and your staff have a proven method for drying your food to a water activity of 0.85 or less, you must send 3 batches of your product to an accredited lab for water activity testing. This must be done at least once initially, and then you can use your own method to calculate water activity such as weight loss. See the Proving the Method You Use Works Every Time card. Brining and salting. During immersion brining, meat must be fully immersed in the brine. Empty and clean brining tanks regularly, for example, at the end of each batch. Check injection equipment before and after each use for any broken or missing parts. Injectors must be clean before use. When salting, or rubbing salt, Make sure the salt evenly covers the surface of the food. Brining and salting solutions. Only use permitted food additives. See the rules in the code for the list of food additives you can use. Make and use preparations following the manufacturer's instructions, or with your own tried and tested recipes. Do not dilute the concentration of food additives, for example, nitrite, and salt necessary to achieve brining and salting. Stored chilled preparations at 5 degrees Celsius or below. Keep them covered until use. Carry out brining and salting at 5 degrees Celsius or below. Throw out any recirculated or reused preparations, and preparations which may have been contaminated, such as those used in injecting at the end of each batch or day's operation. What do you need to show? Show your verifier. Any laboratory test results or results from your own method, example, weight loss, for water activity testing, if applicable. How you and your staff safely dry or brine your food. A record of the permitted food additives and how you are meeting the rules in the code.